far, you have heard Fat and Bee, Carnival. That was on here twice for some reason. So you heard it twice. Pregnant, airport, and whore. Those are the words you've heard so far. How many do you know? All right. See. So these next guys, they were on the tour. It is the Spaghetti Lollabine tour, all the way from Connecticut. Please give it up for your first performer of the night from the tour, Mr. Jerry Morgan. Everybody, Jerry Morgan.
All right, thanks a lot. Everybody having a good time here? Cool. Yeah, me too. Except, I'm not being sarcastic yet. Except there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. Just want to let everybody know that. Not that I gotta go, but if I did, there's too few people not to notice. If I just walked up to him and was like, and then take a roll from him and walk all the way across all of you to go take a shit. So, if any girl has to go, please do that now, so later if I have to, we're all set. Are you high?
Yeah, always.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, I am not that good. That's not, I didn't say anything that was anything more than procedural, and he, holy shit. No, but I actually appreciate all of you because you're being live casted right now, by the way. You're being taped on the internet right now. Not. Thank you. Yes, she's like, finally with my clothes on. Anyway. That's your dad? Like I said, finally with my clothes on. Anyway. The fact that y'all still laughed at that. I don't want to get worse than that. I don't know why. Jesus. You're like, remember my prom? I do. Anyway. Shit. No, y'all are great. Thank you. We go on the road a lot, Brian and I. Brian's up next. And one time we went through Columbus, Ohio. Anybody ever gone out that way?
Yeah.
You know, with the way that my joke is about to go, I totally understand why you're so excited. No, I was out at Columbus, and a lot of times when you go out and do shows, you're like driving for a really long time, and then you show up, do the show, and you have to leave right afterwards. So you don't really get to know the city that much. So I kind of had like a so-so show. I was a little bored, and I left, but I didn't get what I was supposed to out of that town. As I was leaving, I'm looking off the side of the highway as I'm getting on, and there was this place called the Lion's Den.
Yeah.
Okay, bartender, girl who's on film all the time, apparently know what that is. For the rest of you, the Lion's Den is a porn store, and in Columbus, Ohio, it is the size of a fucking city block, okay? But yeah, but I'm saying in that particular one, size of a city block. Right, it's huge. Also what she says on camera, often. Next joke. Anyway, so that wasn't even the fun part, because you can always find like a huge porn store. That's not the fun part. Next door to it was a go-kart track. That threw me. I was like, yo, Columbus knows how to do family day right. I can just see their parents drive over, they drop their kids off at the go-kart track, they go back to the Lion's Den and get all their toys, go back to the go-kart track, start racing their kids, and suddenly it is live pornographic Mario Kart. They're like throwing pocket pussies at their kids like it was turtle shells. Dodge the dildo, Billy, or you're never going to beat the princess to the finish line. Or their family vacation, whichever you... Oh, shit. No, I love him. I'm glad, honestly, that I can see a family just chill and hang out, you know? Make fun of each other, have a good time. I love messing with my family. love messing with my family. I called my mom before I went on the road just to check in. I was like, hey mom, what are you up to tonight? She's like, well, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna watch the movie Lincoln on cable. Now anybody here seen the movie Lincoln? Yeah? Woo! 2 people. All right. Does everybody here know who Lincoln is? How about that for the rest? Okay, there we go. Now we have some responses. I hear clapping from the backs of people. So anyway, I couldn't resist. I was like, oh mom, Lincoln? That's such a good choice. It's an amazing movie. But you know what? I was a little thrown off because I couldn't see that ending coming. I mean, who would have thought he'd die at the end of that movie, Mom? And she responded, I swear to you, with, oh, well, thanks for ruining it. I couldn't help myself. I was like, really, Mom? You're good with exact change. You have to be dead to be on money. How did you not know? I'm going to leave that one alone.
No, I have another daughter that works at Ford's Theater.
Oh boy. And both daughters get filmed taking shots in the head. Anyway, so next. Alright. Shit, that was too easy. Alright. Oh fuck. I had to feel bad about that one. God damn it. No, but I love hanging out with my family too, because they're kind of a bunch of drunkards, you know, and I like the drink. You know, everybody here having a few drinks? Yeah? Well, it was a good thing that dog was here, because that kind of segues into what I was talking about. I love the idea of what it would be like to get a dog drunk. Wouldn't that be fucking cool if you could get the dog drunk and they start acting like we do when we get drunk? It'd be fucking awesome. I'd love it to be able to hang out with my dog, just chilling, and we're getting drunk together. He starts acting like we do, just like, hey man, yo, listen. Listen! I didn't trust you at first, because you stole me from my mom. Yeah, that's what pet adoption is, everybody. You're stealing a dog from their mom, okay? Wow, I think depression just took over the room. This is silent. Even they started crying a little bit. I'm gonna segue off that one. I didn't see that coming. Holy shit. Speaking of sad stuff, though, everybody knows that Robin Williams died, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's a sad story, but I thought it had a really cool silver lining. When he died, online and in publications, I saw all this attention being given to depression and bipolar disorder, and I'm bipolar, so I see all this and I get fucking immediately just uncontrollably excited, and within like 2 minutes, perilously sad, because it's bipolar, that's it had nothing to do with anything, I just do this. And that was how that went. A lot of people actually ask me what it's like to be bipolar, and I finally figured out an analogy I think that works. Being bipolar is kind of like being bisexual, in that someone is kind of likely to fuck you for the story, or like out of curiosity, and then subsequently never call you again because they can't handle your lifestyle. Like that's how it's the same. Oh my goodness. But around that time, there was a charity, I don't know, most people don't know this, there was the Hello Challenge. Does anyone know what that is? Yeah, no one really knows. I'll tell you. It was very much like the Ice Bucket Challenge, okay? It was a video where someone starts by saying this video is to bring attention to depression and bipolarism, and then they take their face off camera, fill it full of cream, come back on camera and go, hello! A la Mrs. Doubtfire in remembrance of Robin Williams. Because let me tell you something, if you're going to kill yourself, the way you want to go out is to be remembered for where you had to dress as a woman. That's made no sense to me. And my friend sent me one. He sent me one. And I was like, I wasn't depressed before, but I'm sure as shit depressed now. Because now I know what it looks like for my friend to be at the end of a bukkake video. That's what I could see out of my friend. And I was like, if you're gonna send out a video that looks like a bukkake in honor of depression, send out the video of a real bukkake. That's fucking depressing. Or the tearful eye of the dad. I love this guy right here. He's on point. Thank you. So anyway, I just turned 30, everybody. 4 years ago. And when I did, I went out to see the movie The Dark Knight Rises. Clearly you like Batman. Anybody else in here like Batman? Yeah, alright, me too. I went to the fucking midnight show. I wanted to be in that theater, watching the movie, going into my birthday. I was so excited. I had just turned 30, and I'm sitting there, and behind me sits down a family of 6. 2 parents and 4 kids, all ages 10 and under. I'm like, it's fucking midnight, and it's Dark Knight, right? It's Batman. First of all, how the fuck are these kids awake? I just assumed these shitty parents probably had them out in their minivan crushing up lines of spree to get them to wake up. Just like, Batman! I just assumed that's what they were fucking doing to these kids. And I said parents, but when you have your kids at the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises and they're all 10 and under, parents goes in fucking quotes. You're just an asshole is what you are, right? And then what else is gonna happen, right? They're kids. There's explosions and death, and then there's Bane with that futuristic ball gag in his mouth, just, I'll eat you. Just like you don't know what he's saying. These kids are gonna freak out. And that's what they did. For an hour, they screamed at their parents, Mom, Dad, help, ayuda, mami, papi. Like they talked to their parents in Spanish just to try to get their fucking attention. And the mom gave the kids this look just like, this is Mom and Dad's a long time. Shut the fuck up. I'm jerking them off. Will you please stop? I can't. So I lost my shit because these kids were yelling the whole time. I'm not proud of it, but this is what I said. I was like, it's kind of ironic that your parents brought you to a Batman movie because I'm about to kill them out in front of this fucking theater. Now some of you are laughing because you're like, oh my god, what a good reference to the Batman lineage, because Bruce Wayne saw his parents get killed out in front of a theater. And then some of you aren't laughing because you have a soul, and you're like, wait a minute, is he talking about that mass shooting that happened outside of The Dark Knight Rises out in Colorado? What a monster! And I want you to know that's not what I was thinking when I wrote it. But ever since I figured out that was a possibility, oh my god, that's all I'm thinking, it's awesome to be a monster. Can I tell you? Oh my god, I love just shocking people. I touch my nipple every time I say it. Oh my god, that's fucked up. So we all have habits, right? We all have habits, the same things that we do all the time, like every day. I go to the same gas station every time I go to get gas when I'm home. And it's always been the same female gas station attendant for 4 fucking years. Always the same woman, never said a word to me every time I tried to pay for something. And then 2 weeks before we left for this tour, I went in to pay, and I go to give her the money, and she goes, whoa, wait a minute. There's something different about you today. You look handsome. Handsome is what is different about me today. I was like, did my dad teach you that? Because he's the best at backhanded compliments, and you're being a bitch. So I left, and I was fucking angry, and I'm running up to my car, and then I realized I had a shot with her that day. Because it had been 4 years, she didn't think I was attractive. My sexual leap year had come, and I fucking missed it. And so I got pretty sad, but then I realized something. She's been a gas station attendant for 4 years. She'll totally be there 4 years from now when my sexual leap year comes back again. And then I can come back here and talk to all of you about what it was like to have sex with a gas station attendant in funny comedian puns like, oh, guess who pumped her full of 87 that day? Yeah, Or upgrade that joke to Diesel if she has a fat ass, I guess. But, for those of you who don't understand vehicles, larger vehicles, okay. Anyway. So I was a fat kid growing up. Anybody else? Fat kid? Yeah, that usually doesn't get a whole lot of woos. That's about this moral equivalent of being like, hey, anybody here have herpes? You know, woo! Yeah, it doesn't really translate well. But I was, and I was picked on a lot for that, and I'm not a fighter, okay? The only two things I've been halfway decent at fighting in my whole life are type 2 diabetes and the urge to stay in bed all day. Those are the only two things I'm halfway decent at fighting. So one day, I actually, tell you the truth, over the last few years, I gained a lot of weight back. And, I started to take over the embodiment of the bully. And then I realized, you gotta treat yourself well before you can expect someone else to, right? That's the rule. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look in this mirror and I'm gonna look at my body in a better way. My body is like a cupcake. Everybody fucking loves cupcakes, first of all. And I was like, my body is like a cupcake in that once you take in the top half, you have no interest in tasting the bottom half. Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna take that cheerful nod. Actually, it's such a tough thing with that joke because the more people that laugh and agree, I'm like, shit, that was more truthful than I thought. Fuck, I'm an ugly piece of shit. When I was a kid, I remember one time I was getting bullied by this dude, and he just said to me, hey man, you're fucking fat, just like your mom. And I was like, man, you're 9, I know you're not in her curves class, so there's no way you can fucking know that. But I gotta defend my mom, and myself, and I wasn't gonna physically fight him, so here's what I said. I was like, oh yeah? Well, that's not even the only thing I have in common with my mom. I don't have sex with my dad either. So that dude kicked my ass. And I went home and I told my dad what happened. And he was like, yo, why the fuck are you telling people I don't have a game with your mom? What the fuck is wrong with you, you fat piece of shit? And I was like, Dad, you keep talking like that, you're not gonna get visitations after this. Oh shit. No, but being a kid, it's weird when you're a kid, right? Like, because they say, like I said, I'm bipolar, and they say that people are always susceptible to things like that. Like they have that base, and then they have something happen to them, and that kind of directs them towards whatever they're going to be, anxious, depressed, bipolar, whatever. And I think I remember my moment. When I was a kid, I was hanging out with my buddy Wyatt, because of course his name was Wyatt. It's another fucking weird name. And so we're hanging out, and there was a guy in my neighborhood who was a child molester. You must be fucking high. I didn't even say anything funny, and just the idea that kids were getting molested, you're like, ha! Kids! So this guy in our neighborhood, his name was Mike the Molester, and we had to walk by his house every time we got off the bus. And he had these fucking wooden ducks outside his house from his wood shop, And so we always go by and be like, yeah, he's just making that as a front. We knew we fucking molested kids down there and stuff. And so one day we're walking by his house and Mike the Molester's outside. And he's like, hey, you guys want to come into my wood shop and make some of these wooden ducks and hang out? And of course, I'm thinking, fucking no. But my buddy, before I could even say anything, he's like, yeah, let's do this. I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, hey man, sometimes life throws challenges at you. You gotta step up to the plate. I'm like, yeah, if you have to pass an exam or some shit, not, hey, I'm gonna challenge myself not to get fucked by this molester. That's not the challenge. That's not the time to throw it out and be like, I'm gonna be a man right now. You can't. And the thing is I had no backbone because I didn't have any friends. So I go in there with him. And do you want to know what happened? I fucking walked away with a wooden duck, that's it. All I got was a stupid fucking wooden duck. And I remember bringing that home thinking, I'm so ugly, that dude didn't even want to fuck me. All I have is this wooden duck. And that was the only thing my parents were ever proud of me for making, and it sat on my lawn for 20 years to remind me how unfuckable I was. Just that wooden duck, twirl, 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 twirl. Even a molester doesn't want to fuck you, twirl, twirl, twirl. But sexual exploration is kind of an interesting thing when you're growing up, right? No, because you got to try to figure shit out. I'm going to end by telling you guys a little story about how I learned how to get the old sex on. Is that cool with everybody? I can't believe I got a better response for child molesters. That made no sense. All right, so this is how I learned about the old sex. I was 11 years old, and my friend had a sister. Well, I mean, he still has her. I didn't like come and kill her or nothing. That would be a whole other story. But she liked me, you know? And she was an awkward girl, and she couldn't really voice it. So what she would do is she would give me these looks just kind of like this, like, right? And I was like, I don't know if you like me or you're constipated, but we're gonna figure this shit out together, you know? And so one day I'm in her house, and I'm out in the like stairwell or whatever, and I see her folding her clothes in her bedroom, and then she gives me that look like, and I thought to myself, you know, I'm 11, I'm a fucking man. I'm gonna go in there, and I'm gonna make something happen. I'm wearing my best hammer pants. Y'all remember hammer pants? No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hammer pants. Well, I was fat, so they were just pants. But I was wearing my best hammer pants. I'm gonna fucking go in there and make something happen. Then I realized when I went there, holy shit, I'm 11, I have no idea what the fuck to do. So I just walk up behind this poor girl, and without saying anything, I just held her breasts. Didn't say a fucking word, I'm just pouring sweat. And the fucking thing is, she didn't say a word either. She's just like, fuck it, just another Tuesday. I gotta fold these clothes. I don't give a shit who's touching my tits. No one's gonna fold my socks for me, okay? I gotta get this shit. And so I'm sitting there, and she's folding her clothes, just holding her tits, and she's folding them on her bed, but her bureau's over that way, and she's gotta transport them. And I didn't know that I should let go, so I just dirty danced across the room with her holding her tits, just like fucking hammer pants on sadness, just hammer pants on sadness. And so, after a few times back and forth, I heard her mom coming up the stairs, and I was like, oh shit, titty time's over. So I ran out of the room, and I looked down at my hammer pants, and I just saw foam. Fucking foam. Just like as if you opened like you threw a beer in the back of the car because you thought you saw the cops, and then like a day later you forgot you did that, and you opened it up, and it just went. And I remember at 11 years old, I looked down, and I went, holy shit, I foamed my pants. And I couldn't believe it. And I had to go home and try to fucking figure out how to make the foaming action happen again. Because Billy Mays wasn't there to tell me. And so I put on my mom's lab coat and her stethoscope, and I'm walking around my room like a horny fucking fat Bunsen honeydew, right? And I'm trying to fucking figure it out, you know? And so I realized it was the rubbing. It was the rubbing action that made the foam happen. Then I had to figure out, how do I make the rubbing action happen again? Quick question. Does anybody here remember what wrestling buddies were?
Yes.
Alright, well, for those of you not in the loop, wrestling buddies were a product in the late 80s to early 1990s by the WWF. They were about 2-foot tall stuffed dolls of their famous wrestlers. And I had one. And it was the closest thing to a human being that I could use to make the foaming action happen again. So I just laid down in my bed, and I grabbed my wrestling buddy, and I just started grinding him up on my dick. Start rubbing him. I got my eyes closed, and I'm thinking about folding clothes. And within 2 minutes, all right, I'm giving myself a minute. Within a minute, I fucking Dante Inferno'd all over myself, or Volcano, depending on which movie you prefer from the time. And I was like, still in that drunk euphoria. You ever come with someone or apparently an inanimate object, and then you find yourself saying stupid shit in their ear that you kind of regret later? Well, I did the same thing to my wrestling buddy. I fucking came and I just was like in his ear, like, no, we'll hang out again, seriously. I enjoyed our time together. Which made no sense because we fucking lived together. You know what I mean? We made no sense. So then, I'm in that fucking drunk euphoria of post-cum, And I got my eyes closed still, and the first thing I see when I open up my eyes is the Ultimate Warrior's face right here. And ever since then, I've had asked every sexual partner to wear war paint or I can't come. I'm like, here, baby, put on these tassels so you look like a girl's bicycle so I can finish. That's about the same awkward, quiet sound I have with my Ultimate Warrior right afterwards, too. So, anyway, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Have a good night.
Give it up for Jerry Morgan, everybody. Yeah! Just open up to you until you reach the front of the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, come on. All right, the words you heard so far in Comedy Bingo: fat, plan B, carnival, sex, ball gag, fat again, leap year, cupcake, pregnant, bowling, go-karts, sister, Columbus, airport, and whore. Just let me know. Just let me know. All right, this guy's the headliner of the Spaghetti Lullaby Tour. Very, very funny guy. You've seen him on MTV and Comedy Central. Great pleasure to have him back here again. Please give it up for Brian Barganier, everybody. Brian Barganier.
Thank you. How you doing? Still a little life left in you? 3 people? Alright, fuck it. Everyone's been up here saying stuff, sad stuff. My life's awesome, I don't care. I'm high right now, everything could be better. 50-cent wing night, I didn't eat anything really good. Dude's deep throating one right now. Jesus Christ. You're rude, man. This is a nice room. I'd like to come back when there's like people. That'd be fun. Dreads in the back, how we doing? Good. I had dreads before. Then I found Jesus. And, what am I talking about? I don't know. I haven't been having good luck at shows lately because I just start rambling when I'm big. But, like, I live in Connecticut, and I run a show, a monthly show out there in Hartford. And I've been having bad luck at that one. Like, last month, I had 3 people, like, heckle the show, like, real bad. And I don't care. Like, my set is just a bar conversation. I don't care. I just have a microphone. Don't fuck with me or whatever. Like, I had to kick out all 3 parties involved with the heckling, and then only after I kicked them out, I swear to God, I found out I had just kicked out the state senator and 2 prostitutes that he brought to the bar with him. I did it. I'm a political comedian now. I did it. Affected American politics. And it was like innocent intentions. Like I didn't mean for anything to happen. It's just they walked in and one of the prostitutes is wearing 6 jackets. It's a lot of fucking jackets. I saw the zippers. I counted them. It distracted me. I was like, what the fuck? So I said something. I just went, hey there, you little Eskimo. What are you doing with all those jackets on? And she just goes, fuck you, baby hands. She's like, this crazy bitch. I don't even know what she's talking about. But I'm drunk and I get defensive instantly and I scream out, yeah, well I bet you these hands wouldn't feel small if I fisted that pastrami clogged rain gutter you call a vagina. Boom, home turf advantage, got her. The show's derailed at this point. She stands up and screams, you couldn't handle this maze of a pussy. Yeah, I guess not, because I guess your vagina has corners in it. What's going on in there? Maybe you should have a little more self-confidence in your genitals than a fucking Denny's placemat. How about that? It's just like, I don't get why, like, stand-up comedy is like let's say art form for all of our self-esteems right now. Why isn't the only, like, art form where, like, heckling's even, like, heard of or considered? Like, you're never watching, like, a nice orchestra and some drunk guy just runs on stage like, you calling that a fucking viola solo? I'm from Worcester! Like, that never happens. I don't know. Worcester's just my favorite way to say that. I don't know, what's the shitty town in North Carolina?
All of them? North Carolina.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually like this town. I was here last month. I did a show, and then Lewis tricked me into doing this. I was like, yeah. I didn't know it was bingo. He just like hits me up like, can you give me 20 random words you say? And I wrote dig, and then I just went, I don't know. Like, I just have no ideas. What words do you guys have left? I'll do those jokes.
Filthy.
I don't say that word.
Ankle and Bravo.
Oh, that's Jerry's stuff.
Oh.
You missed it. You didn't do it. We were like, let's say words we never said, like Kilimanjaro. Oh, shit. Alright. Pot. Someone's talking about pot. Any potheads here? 2 people. The rest of you, what the fuck? What do you think? I'm a cop? Just gonna rip off my hair like, it's actually a wig. That one shitty dick joke I just did's a mere act. Rip the skin off, there's a mustache underneath. Like, whoa, you could've just shaved. That's elaborate. Like, I assume everyone's here high right now because you're fucking here waiting for free ice cream sandwiches. Like, this guy won't stop taking chicken in my face, just like drenching it in rain, just like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. Trying to talk about weed here. It's distracting. But you guys think pot makes people dumb?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, sometimes. I smoke weed like occasionally every day, and like, I don't think it makes you smarter or dumber, but like I will say it makes you jump to like weird right-wrong conclusions. Do you know what I mean by that? Like I've been so high before, like I've tried to make milk by just mixing cheese and water in a cup for 2 hours. Because I wanted a white Russian so bad. And then I'm sitting there drinking watered down nacho cheese and vodka in a cup. Reevaluating my whole life. Can that be a drink special here? The Muy Caliente bomb? I'll give you a bad example of the pot stuff. Like back in high school when I first started like smoking the ganj, like I thought my younger brother by a couple of years was stealing my pot. So being a little stone detective that I am, I went into his backpack to see if it was just in there. And I swear to God, this is all that was in my brother's backpack. A hammer, KY jelly, and a notebook. Yeah, it's creepy, right? I was just like, why couldn't it just be my pod? I want to kill every brain cell that remembers this. And I don't want to jump to conclusions, because I mean, who hasn't jacked off while trying to make a birdhouse before? But, hot, right, wrong conclusions, what I actually said was, oh my God, my brother shoves hammers up his ass and writes about it in the diary. Like, that's what I thought. All 3 have to be related. That's how it works on Blue's Clues. Case solved. Didn't even find my pot. Just new case of the butt hammer. And I'm sitting there sweating, like staring at this notebook like I just stumbled upon like the holy grail of the butthole monologues or something. Like if I opened it up, what would it say? Would it be like Captain's Log, June 15th? I've had this hammer in my ass now for about 15 minutes. Probably should have gone handle first in retrospect. That joke means that I would just Tim Allen like, ooh. That or stop hammer time. Cue it up, and then Jerry comes out and dances in hammer bands. The rest of my set, I just go Jerry Morgan, everybody. Who's playing bingo? Is everyone here playing bingo? I know you're fucking doing it. You won't woo any other time. Just woo bingo. Like, okay, Grandma, take it easy. Grandma likes bingo. Wilted. She calls it the bitch and stitch. She's good. Alright. What do we have for words left? I don't remember what words I fucking told them. My initial plan was to just come up here and just say all those words and then walk off stage. Boom! Killed it! They loved me. Yeah, see, exactly. That gets an applause for me. Alright, I'm gonna try this joke. It's not gonna work. I think I'm gonna quit comedy. Cool. No one disagrees. Alright. Not because I think I suck. I accepted that a long time ago, but I was like, yeah, I'll still go to Wilmington, North Carolina. That's fine. Like, I think I'm gonna quit comedy just because I think there's people just so naturally funny in life. It's like me coming up here and just talking about pot and my dick. It's almost like a disservice to like what people find funny. Because like I've already seen like the funniest thing apparently. what happened was I was at the grocery store, and I was behind two women in line, and I don't know what the first one said, but the other one's response was, "Woo! Damn, girl, I need to change my pad." Yeah. And like, I've never been so funny before someone got their period harder. That's fucking crazy. I don't think any of those words were in that. Oh, I know one specifically. Do you guys want to hear the grossest joke I have, or the worst gay guy I ever did?
Bro.
It's the same story. All right. Perfect. What had happened was I live in Connecticut, like I said, and we went to 4 comedy clubs, and I was at the only one that books me. And I was doing a show, and I was drinking afterwards, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I get the worst stomachache I've ever had, but I'm like hammered drunk, I didn't know what to do. So I went to the hospital, and I paid $200 because I don't have health insurance for a grown man to walk up into a room for all of 60 seconds, squeeze my belly, and go, "You have a stomach bug, get the fuck out." And I was like, all right, he gave me some antibiotics and painkillers that I abused the shit out of. And then I went and did my gig the next night, and while I was on stage, my appendix ruptured. Yeah. So I don't care if I bomb and you don't get free ice cream sandwiches. I've already had the worst gig I could probably ever have. I plateaued right there. It sucked. I heard it explode, like my stomach was getting bigger. I just went, "Good night," and I had to go to the hospital right away. Because apparently I had appendicitis for days, but I would just get drunk and eat buffalo wings every night and just go, "That's why my stomach hurts. I drowned it in sriracha. It's fine." And that's it. So I had to go to surgery like immediately. And I guess the funny part about it now is like the doctor was having what I could only describe as the hardest time ever trying to get that surgery hairnet thing on my head. Because my hair's all big and ridiculous. Like, he's like stretching out like, "Fucking God." He's punching me in the head. Like, "Fucking damn it." Tries like multiple techniques. He tries to stretch one out, like big enough and it rips. He tries to put like 3 on, like we're gonna shoot a Missy Elliott music video after that or some shit. And then he just gives up. And when the main surgeon walks in, he goes, "Just give him anesthesia." They start giving me anesthesia. I have nothing on my head. And then I hear the main doctor go, and I'm not even kidding, he goes, "You know what? Fuck it." And then he just threw a pillowcase on my head. And then that was it. He lights out. And I was like, shit, my last conscious thought could have been, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die looking like Frankenberry. This is bullshit." That anesthesia's no joke. Has anyone ever gone under before? Yeah. It's fucking weird, right? Like, you blinked. Yeah, like, if those of you who've never gone under, it just literally feels like you blinked and that was it. Like, you wake up and some nurse is like, "You've been asleep for 8 hours and you shit on the operating table." And I'm just like, "Sorry, I had buffalo wings today. I didn't know I was having major surgery." And then I was in the hospital for 8 days. Yeah, it sucked. But until they gave me Dilaudid, where are the pill heads at? Who knows what that is? Okay. Sure, let's hang out after this. No, I don't actually fuck with painkillers because I can't handle that shit. Just turn into a zombie. But Dilaudid, if you don't know, it's the strongest painkiller. As my doctor said, it was 1,000 times stronger than morphine. So I was like, yeah, let's do 1,000 heroin every 4 to 8 hours. I'm only trying to learn how to walk again. Watching Law and Order all day was the worst thing that happened. And I was fucked up. That shit's like Jesus' dick. It was crazy. I was so fucked up. And I was like, this is how fucked up I was. I was sitting in my bed in all seriousness thinking to myself, like, do fat gay guys titty fuck each other? I'm just thinking about it like so philosophically. This is this is how messed up I actually was. I called my dad and I go, "Dad, I wrote the best joke ever." I was crying. I was like, "I wrote the best joke ever. You gotta come bring me a notebook. I need to write this down. This is gonna be the game changer when I'm half bombing one night in Wilmington." A year from later. You guys wanna hear it? This is the best joke I ever wrote. According to me. Here we go. Best joke ever. "Yo, I got a hand job from a pack of owls. It was amazing." That's it. I'm fucking good at it. I was in tears laughing at that shit. That joke is the Da Vinci Code as far as I'm concerned. Like, do I think rearrange the letters? There's like a funnier dick joke in there. Like, now that I'm sober, looking back at it, now that I only pick, I don't know, the worst animal hand-wise, for said HJ adventure, but I literally picked the only animal that I have sex with that can turn its head all the way around and look at me. It's equally as terrifying. Alright, that wasn't for everybody, I'm sorry. I asked for that. We can go back to the silly stuff if you want. Okay, let's go silly again. Hey! You ever go to a party and then piss in a Pringles can, wake up the next morning and someone made a bong out of it? Anybody? Alright, let's go sillier. Anyone here ever been a kid before? I just want to see you still invested at this point. Hey, when you guys were a kid, did a stranger ever come up to you and try and get you to get in their car with candy? But the only reason you didn't do it is because it wasn't the kind of candy you liked? You too? I remember looking at that guy like, what is that, candy corn? Go fuck yourself. If that was a Snickers bar, I would suck your dick right now, but no nut allergies here, man. I got the shit. I trick-or-treated before. What do you guys want to talk about then? What do you have for words? Dildo? I don't have dildo. I think that was one of the words I wrote. Alright. Let's talk about dildos then. This is crowd participation time. Who do you think masturbates more, men or women? Men. Just two chicks with opinions right now? I'm gonna disprove that right now, I think. Alright, sex toys. Who has them? Who's that? Just some dude? Alright. Like, now the chicks are gonna claim with me now, pun intended. I'm just saying, like, you should not be ashamed of your sex toys, chicks. You realize you have it made when it comes to sex toys, right? You got fucking cool shit. I don't use them, but I get how science works. Like, you have, like, glass vibrating robots. That's crazy. It's like Back to the Future 2 technology right there. And, like, have you ever seen, like, a guy sex toys? Like, the technology's, like, still in, like, the dark ages. There's, like, cogs and gears, steam. It's fucking gross. Like, women, you really do have, like, it better. So what my point is, if guys supposedly masturbate way more than you, why hasn't our sex toy technology caught up? Yeah, fucking riddle me that, you liars. Exactly. You have it made, though. You have fucking, like, eggs and rabbits and dolphins going in your asshole. It's like a trip to the zoo. You're calling out to God, literally, using Neptune's trident, ultimately. What do I have? A fucking toilet paper roll with a sponge in it that I've been spitting on for a week. Like I'm in jail, waiting for my Fifi to be ready. Like when you find a chick sex toy, there's like some awards where like, oh my god, she has a dildo. If you find a guy sex toy, you're like, ew, throw it out and burn it. You fucked a can of soup. That's crazy. Yeah. Like what's the coolest toy a guy has? His hand. Yeah, that's not good. That's him. I'm talking like an inanimate object toy. Like what's the best? Like, flashlight? Is that what someone said? That was the best idea we could come up with? Some guy sitting in an office like, yeah, what if like a flashlight had a pussy on it? And another guy was like, that's a great idea, let's make 1,000 of those. Like what else? Like blow up doll? No. I want to like make eye contact with a mistake and then like deflate my mistake and fold my mistake back up and hide it under my bed so no one fucking finds